Admiral Richard E. Byrd allegedly wrote about his encounter with a lost civilization during his expedition to the North and South Poles. According to his secret entry, he met the ancient alien race underground and witnessed a huge base with animals and plants previously thought to have been extinct. He's talking like even mammoth-like creatures. Allegedly, the Byrd plane was commandeered mid-air and was landed for him by people who lived in the center of the Earth, who intercepted his plane with saucer-shaped aircrafts. Upon landing, he was met by emissaries of a civilization that many folks assume to be the mythical Agartha, which we'll talk about more about in a moment. These alleged Agarthans expressed their concern about humanity's use of atomic weapons during the big mass extinction event that we all know about, and they employed Byrd as their ambassador to return to the US government and relay their opinions. So the general was actually ordered to remain silent on what he had witnessed during this Arctic assignment by the government. He wrote this in his diary on March 11th of 1947, saying he had just attended a staff meeting at the Pentagon and stated fully his discovery and his message from the master. So everything was duly recorded and the president was advised, but then he was detained for like 7 hours, or 6 hours, 39 minutes to be exact. He was being interviewed very severely by top security forces and a medical team, and he described it as an ordeal. He was then placed under strict control via the national security provisions of the United States of America. And he wrote this in all caps: "I am ordered to remain silent in regard to all that I have learned on the behalf of humanity." Incredible. I am reminded that I am a military man and I must obey orders. But like, okay folks, once again, government cover-ups? Not good. So according to the official record, Antarctica was discovered in 1820, but it took almost 100 years for modern explorers to reach there. Surely it can't be true that nobody before had known about this part of our planet. Christopher Columbus used ancient maps for navigation throughout his expeditions, but I don't think it was a coincidence that he only traveled to other continents. There are several ancient world maps made hundreds of years ago that clearly show Antarctica in its enormous form. Turkish Admiral Piri Reis's 1500 map baffled researchers because, like, you can see Antarctica, but there's no ice. And he claimed to have used earlier sources and compiled them into one map. Well, American author Charles Hapgood began studying this specific map in the middle of the 20th century and published a book, Maps of the Ancient Sea Kings. I think it was published in 1966. And he claimed this and other maps support a theory of a global exploration by a pre-classical undiscovered civilization. So he supported this with an analysis of the mathematics of ancient maps and of their accuracy, which he said surpassed instrumentation available at the time of the map's drafting. So he argued that owing to the map being assembled from components, the Caribbean section was rotated nearly 90 degrees from the top of the South America. So he's like, maybe this was either from copying a polar projection or to fit in the space available by hinging the map at that location and giving it an alternate north, of which other examples are known in maps of that era. But, and this is where we all come in today, ancient astronaut theorists are very curious about the pyramid-like structure near the Shackleton Mountain range on the icy continent. Satellite images show the pyramid has 4 steep sides, kind of like the Great Pyramids of Giza. Well, in the popular TV show Ancient Aliens, author David Childress said it could be the oldest pyramid on Earth built by the ancient civilization. He said if the gigantic pyramid in Antarctica is an artificial structure, it would probably be the oldest pyramid on the planet. And in fact, it might be the master pyramid that all other pyramids on the planet Earth were designed to look like. So one theory suggests that in the distant past, Antarctica was a habitable place, and there lived one of the oldest civilizations on Earth. We're talking pre-Sumerian, pre-ancient Egyptian, and it possibly could be the lost civilization of Atlantis. Because there's a lot of folks that believe that the existence of Atlantis is associated with Antarctica and associated with ancient aliens. Look, Plato was the first person to write about the lost city, and he described it as an island situated far in the Atlantic Ocean. So it could have been there. In 1959, a Soviet expedition based on the Mirny Polar Station in Antarctica sent a group of 8 researchers deep into the uncharted continent, and the group's goal was to reach the South Magnetic Pole. Well, only 3 people returned from that group that was dispatched, and according to the official version, the cause of the tragedy was severe frost, a storm, all-terrain vehicle engine failure. But later on, Soviet polar explorer Yuri Kushinov, in a conversation with a reporter, was like, no. I was one of the people that returned from the trip to the magnetic pole, and according to him, the group was attacked by luminous flying objects resembling discs, and an attempt to photograph an anomalous phenomenon kinda ended poorly, because the cameras were destroyed by a beam sent from a flying object. Folks who tried to repel the attack using hunting rifles were also struck by the rays from that object and passed away. So the reporter didn't have time to publish the collected materials because Yuri passed away really fast after he talked about this. In 1970, the United States Environmental Science Service Administration, or ESSA, to save me some time here, published satellite photos of the North Pole, where one photo showed a perfectly rounded hole over the Arctic. And that's kind of only added more to a lot of beliefs of underground civilizations that go back to ancient aliens. Once again, that whole Agartha theory that they're here, they've been here, they're just hanging out where we don't go. Russian cosmonaut Ivan Vagner, who now works on the ISS, posted a video with orbiting UFOs on his Twitter account back in 2020. So in the video, the unidentified objects appear, quickly fly from left to right, and disappear after a couple of seconds. So it looks like maybe there's several UFOs lined up in a straight line, or one object with several shining lights on its body. And if it's one object, then it's cigar-shaped, which matches a lot of other UFOs we've seen. They've been repeatedly spotted in the sky, and they're considered an alien base from which smaller ships fly out. Vagner tweeted, "At 9 to 12 seconds, 5 objects appear, flying alongside with the same distance. What do you think? Meteors, satellites, or..." I'm gonna go with the "or" here, folks. A groundbreaking initiative has been spearheaded by Dr. Stephen M. Greer, a renowned founder of the Disclosure Project and a respected authority on UFO and UAP phenomena. Dr. Greer made an exceptional presentation in June of 2023 at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C., unveiling compelling evidence having to do with covert and unauthorized black budget projects associated with UFO operations. So for over 33 years, he's been working as a volunteer on the Disclosure Project. And the last time he conducted an event was back in 2001, where 22 individuals from different government sectors joined in. So in this recent 3-hour-long event, Dr. Greer presented his investigations on these secret programs. It was joined by 6 very courageous whistleblowers who shared very compelling information about covert operations. In all of this, I think the most compelling testimony came from one Eric Heckner, a former Raytheon contractor who spent a year at the South Pole. He began his testimony by explaining his role as a tradesman and firefighter and emphasized that the technology there, particularly the ice cube neutrino detector, serves purposes beyond what is publicly disclosed. So he was selected to go down to the South Pole Station in Antarctica in 2010, and he spent an entire year by the Raytheon Polar Services as an employee of a third-party contractor for the National Science Foundation. And he presented documentation indicating that there are over 5,000 embedded digital optical modules in the ice that can transmit at over 2,000 volts each. And this revelation kind of suggests that the neutrino detector possesses capabilities far beyond passive listening, effectively functioning as a multifaceted directed energy weapons platform. Its size and power suggested it could be used for deep space or quantum communications with spacecrafts traveling throughout our solar system and beyond. Hecker revealed to a Dr. Michelle Sala in an interview that each DOM, for short, has the capacity to transmit so much that it makes it the world's largest phased array transmitter. So then this all led us to Dr. Greer because it aligns with the concepts he presents regarding directed energy weapons and communication devices for ships traveling faster than the speed of light. So this detector serves as a communication device for intergalactic communication. And as somebody who experienced this firsthand, he affirms that something's happening and he's out there to raise awareness and provide a path towards uncovering the truth. He further elaborated on the various functions of the South Pole Station. Allegedly, it works as an air traffic control station for off-world craft, including extraterrestrial and human-made vehicles that emit neutrinos. So the facility enables faster than light communications, which is kind of crucial for interstellar travel. He referenced Gary McKinnon's past hacking of NASA, revealing the existence of an off-world fleet. And the South Pole Station is instrumental in facilitating such communications. Well, that's all for today, folks. I've been Alexa, your resident ooky spooky girly. See ya!